Tonight on News Live at 6, on the heels of her 2024 budget announcement, Kathy Hochul is in Syracuse to discuss where exactly that money will go.
Plus, how the cold weather this weekend impacted sporting events and more in Lake Placid. CitrusTV reporter Trey Redfield has more on just how cold it got in the Adirondacks this weekend.
And Nick Zelaya will join us from Arizona, just 6 days away from the Super Bowl. CitrusTV News Live at 6 starts right now.
It wasn't. Friday's second heat was campus.
Your campus news leader.
In Syracuse tonight. Good evening. I'm Josh Myers.
And I'm Louise Rath. Hochul talks her new budget and how it will contribute to Syracuse.
And shortly tonight, in the Great Law of Peace Center, SU will host a lecture on Haudenosaunee principles of peace and democracy. Frida Jacques, who is a respected leader of the Onondaga Nation, will MC, and she has been the mother of the Turtle Clan for over 40 years, working as a cultural liaison within educational institutions across New York. The Listen to the Elder Speaker series is to spread awareness on the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. Free transportation will be provided from the College Place in front of Sims Hall for students.
And tonight, students interested in becoming an orientation leader for August 2023 can attend a virtual information session at 6:30 p.m. The session will explain more about the position, qualifications, responsibilities, and some perks.
The Student Association sent out an email to the Syracuse University Community Center earlier today as a reminder for the upcoming Student Association election. Petitions are now available for the positions up for the election. These include President, Vice President, Comptroller, and 42 Assembly positions. Any student interested in running for a position must fill out an intent to petition form by February 20th. The deadline to file a petition is March 6th. Prospective candidates must also attend one information session.
And Syracuse basketball fans are likely in for another year with head coach Jim Boeheim at the helm. This comes after a post-game press conference where the 78-year-old and 47-year coaching veteran said he will, quote, probably return. Boeheim says that while fans can expect to see him strolling the sidelines in 2024, it's not a 100% guarantee, adding, quote, I have no other plans. It's just the calendar going, well, he's 78, anything can happen. Anything, literally. We'll just see what happens. I don't say anything because I don't know.
And this morning, Governor Kathy Hochul visited the Marriott in downtown Syracuse to announce her budget plans. Citrus TV reporter Cora Mayer-Costa has more. Cora?
Thank you, Josh and Louise. During her visit, Hochul highlights Central New York's recent investments and plans for the 2023. Governor Hochul wants to establish New York as a pro-business environment. She sees the Syracuse Build Pathways to Apprenticeship program as a model for her efforts across the state. The budget proposal will give the program an additional $1 million to serve building trade apprenticeships such as I-81 and Micron construction. The other part of the budget will include $10 million to help transform the area near the highway. The money will develop 370 units of new housing in the 15th Ward. Hochul's budget also plans on delivering $36 million to Onondaga Community College, in which $15 million will be dedicated to expanding the college's School of Health. The college is expected to play an important role in training workers needed by Micron to support its development. Hochul emphasizes the need for affordable housing with the new wave of workers Micron hopes to bring.
Now the prices are going up because that's, again, a statement of how desirable our cities in New York are and our communities are in New York. So that's nice, but if it's a barrier to be able to own a home or even afford an apartment, then it doesn't work.
Hochul hopes to establish a, quote, new dynamic within the Syracuse housing market. Reporting for Citrus TV News, I'm Cora Mayer-Costa.
Cora, thank you. The average price for a house in Syracuse is on the rise again this year. According to the Greater Syracuse Association of Realtors, the average price for a home in Syracuse proper is about 7% higher than it was a year ago. A rise in housing isn't unique to the Salt City, though. The average house price is up nearly 11% in Onondaga County in the last year. All this data corresponds to a drop by nearly 40% in housing sales. Now, Luis, that wind chill over the weekend was brutal. It was freezing here.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
But we're glad it's over. It's a lot warmer now.
Yeah.
No longer need to worry about slipping and falling out there.
Yeah.
But you know who is out there with that cold weather right now? Our Peter Elliott. Peter, what do you got for us?
Hey Josh and Louise, I'm envious of you two being in that nice warm studio because out here it feels like every bit of February. Temperatures right now 29, 28 degrees, but it feels more like 22 and 23 thanks to a pretty harsh wind chill right around 8 to 9 miles per hour, and we'll see that later on tonight get even lower. But apparently it's not cold enough to go skateboarding. Just a few minutes ago, we saw someone skateboard down Waverly Avenue, which isn't something you usually see until March or April here on the campus of Syracuse University. So hey, with no snow, with no salt on the roads, I guess you can rip down these roads. Later on tonight, we're going to see that temperature dip down, but when the sun comes out tomorrow morning, right around 9 to 10 a.m., we're going to see it get even warmer like we did over the weekend. Temperatures are going to get up into the 40s, if you can believe it, and they should melt away the remaining snow we see out here on the ground. Pretty nice temperatures this time of year for February, so hey, we'll take 22, 23 right now if we can get 45 sometime tomorrow. I'll have more coming up in my full 5-day forecast and whether or not we're going to see some more snow sometime later this week. But for now, I'll send it back into the nice, cozy confines of our Citrus TV studio. Josh and Louise, back to you.
Yeah, Peter, I'm grateful to be in the warm right now. Thank you. Central New Yorker is celebrating 2 Grammy wins this morning. Lonnie Park is a performer and producer from the town of Freeville in Tompkins County. Park is the winner of the Best Surround Sound Album award for his role as the producer of the Divine Tides Project. He's also the winner of Best World Music Album for his contributions to Masa Takumi Sakura. This is Park's first time winning the award, and he was also nominated back in 2013.
And a popular country music star is coming to Syracuse this summer. Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line will perform in Chevy Park on August 29th. The concert is free for everyone who pays the $6 fair admission fee.
And ahead of the Micron facility coming to Clay next year, there will be 2 separate Micron town halls this week in Onondaga County. The first is tomorrow at Henninger High School in Syracuse, starting at 5:30 p.m. And panelists include Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh, Onondaga County Executive Ryan McMahon, and Syracuse City School District Superintendent Anthony Davis. And the second town hall is on Wednesday at Wellwood Middle School in Fayetteville at 6:30.
And some New York college students may have to pay a little bit more to go to school in the next 5 years. Albany lawmakers are weighing the allowance of a potential 30% tuition hike for some SUNY research colleges.
The list includes Binghamton, Buffalo, and Stony Brook campuses. The program's Board of Trustees is responsible for weighing each proposed tuition hike. Assembly Higher Education Chair Pat Fahey adds, quote, "With double-digit inflation, with rising costs everywhere, I understand we have to look at everything before anything comes off the table."
Well, and Super Bowl Sunday is full of traditions. For fans, it may include sharing a pizza or some wings with family. But for the Oswego Police, it means giving out soup to those in need. The Oswego PD is collecting cans of soup to benefit the Human Concern Center in Oswego. People can drop off canned soups at the Oswego Police Department until February 13th. Donors can pick between the Chiefs and Eagles by placing their soup can in their preferred box.
And the Onondaga County Legislature will vote on a potential prison merger tomorrow. County Executive Ryan McMahon and his cabinet will decide whether the Jamesville Correctional Facility and downtown Syracuse Justice Center will merge. This idea is something McMahon says is long overdue. If the vote passes, McMahon says Onondaga will work with neighboring counties to house inmates in overflow situations.
And 2 Syracuse residents are displaced this morning after a house fire last night. Firefighters first discovered the fire in the attic and on portions of the roof. In response, firefighters performed an overhaul by drilling holes in the walls and ceiling. Fortunately, though, both residents survived and avoided injuries.
And the troubled Skyline apartment building in Syracuse is receiving attention once again, this time for a physical altercation. Emergency services responded to a stabbing call earlier this morning, and it's unclear whether police have made arrests. Police say the victim is expected to survive, and an investigation is ongoing.
Western New York woke up to a bit of a shock this morning. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, Buffalo experienced a magnitude 3.8 earthquake. The quake marks Western New York's largest in over 40 years. The largest earthquake Western New York experienced dates back to 1929 when a 4.7 magnitude quake rocked the village of Corfu.
And coming up on News Live at 6, sales tax may be on the rise. Find out where an increase in sales tax revenue is going in New York State.
And more New Yorkers might make bail going forward. The latest on Governor Hochul's new bail laws is coming up right after the break.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Cyprus. Yeah, I saw you guys out there. We're the family.
Yeah!
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. Today, New York City Mayor Eric Adams announced the end of the city's COVID vaccine mandate for city workers. According to Adams, 96% of the city workforce is already vaccinated, and the change is expected to be ratified at the next Board of Health meeting, after which COVID vaccinations will become optional for current and prospective employees starting February 10th.
Governor Kathy Hochul is asking the New York State legislature to consider tweaks to the state's bail laws. Progressives and public defenders claim the laws could unjustly incarcerate too many people.
According to 2019 data, 40 to 50% of violent felony cases would be more clearly subject to bail. That could account for a change in more than 10,000 cases annually.
And New York is raking in more sales tax revenue. According to State Comptroller Thomas DiNapoli, sales tax revenue increased by 12.7% in 2022, and New York collected $22.1 billion just a year ago.
And according to DiNapoli, inflation and the pandemic are the main causes of the rise in revenue. He also believes loosened travel restrictions as COVID cases dwindled correlates with increased spending.
In the latest now overseas, more than 5,000 people have been killed and thousands more are injured after a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit Turkey and Syria early this morning. The earthquake is the strongest to hit the region in more than 100 years. Aftershocks have been felt across the region for hours after the initial earthquake.
Turkey's disaster agency has asked for help from the international community as it continues its search and rescue operations. Turkish President Erdogan says 45 countries have already offered aid to Turkey.
Tensions between the U.S. and China are rising after a Chinese spy balloon was shot down Saturday. Republican lawmakers are accusing China of deliberately surveilling sensitive U.S. military sites. China says the U.S. used unnecessary force. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson called the decision unacceptable and irresponsible. The balloon's presence indefinitely postponed the Secretary of State Antony Blinken's diplomatic visit to Beijing.
And that snow outside is melting, but could there be more on the way later this week to replace it? I'll have your answer in my full 5-day forecast coming up after the break.
To my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
Stem is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Peter Elliott. Let's take a look at what we're going to be seeing outside for the remainder of this week. Hey, how about those temperatures in the mid-40s in early February? How about that? Right around Super Bowl time, and we're seeing temperatures well above freezing. That's pretty great. We're going to see the sun a lot this week, Tuesday, Wednesday especially. We could see some showers tomorrow, but most of this week it'll be dry. Friday is our best chance for snow sometime this week, which could replace some of the snow we're seeing on the ground, which is really dwindling after this weekend in which we saw those high temperatures melt away all the snow that stuck to the ground. After Saturday, we could see it get a little chillier when a cold front comes in. But again, we have not seen a lot of snow this time of year. Just 0.4 inches so far in this month of February, and so far this year, there's only been about 8 snowfall events with greater than 2.5 inches of snow. One of the least snowiest winters on record here in Syracuse. But we've still been getting that cold like we saw over the weekend on Friday and Saturday when it got down into the single digits. But it's been cold here. It has been even colder in Lake Placid. Temperatures were, for the Empire State Winter Games, were pretty brisk. Citrus TV's Trey Redfield details how it impacted the game's event schedule and how parents and athletes reacted.
Immaculate views in Lake Placid this weekend, but it had some caveats. Some snowy cars, windy conditions, and thermometers showing temperatures below zero.
I do get worried about them a little bit because the gear that they're wearing when they're going down on the sled, it's not that thick.
For Luge, it wasn't. Friday's second heat was canceled due to extremely cold temperatures. It was something Remsen native Alfred Montegari was worried about for his son Michael before his competition.
You know, kind of gearing up for this, he's been training for the last, this is the second week now, so I think that he would be feeling kind of bad about it if it was to be canceled because he's excited.
Safety comes first, with 11 other events following suit at the Empire State Winter Games. Indoor athletes competed like Benjamin Wobesser, but he also understands the pain outdoor athletes are enduring.
Well, I think it's going to be very sad for them because they paid a lot of money to come up here. They are rescheduling some of them until March, but that's the next competition. They already paid to come up here, so it's going to be pretty sad for them.
This weekend in Lake Placid, temperatures have gotten down to negative 25 degrees with a wind chill set at negative 50. But the event coordinator I spoke to on Friday night told me it's the right move to put athletes' safety above striking gold.
You know, there's no other option. Canceling was the best choice. But it's sad. People have traveled, people trained, and made preparations for this event since last year.
And the hope for next year is the same views and definitely a higher temperature. I'm Trey Redfield, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Trey. And coming up later in sports, Jim Boeheim made some cold-blooded comments this weekend about their ACC schools. This morning, he redacted what he said. Stick around on the other side of the break for the full story.
To my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Hey, and welcome into News Live at 6. I'm John Dales. That's Nick Zelaya. He's where there's no bigger place to be in the sports world this weekend. That's Glendale, Arizona, the site of Super Bowl 57. Nick now joins us live on News Live at 6. Nick, I saw on Twitter that you and the rest of the crew that went to Arizona, you checked out the fan experience last night. What was that like?
Hey John, yeah, the NFL experience, it's really the perfect thing for any football fan. I mean, one of my Citrus TV colleagues, our Citrus TV colleague, John Eads and I, we competed in the bench press, the 40-yard dash, the vertical jump. It has events like that, combine things. You can also take pictures with the Lombardi Trophy, go on the draft stage, pick out your favorite team's jersey. It's really cool. It has rings that you can take pictures of. There's an autograph table for players later on. You can go up there, practice your own autograph. What I really like about it is it's a museum for all ages without the boring stuff. It has all the fun things there, which makes it a really cool experience.
Tonight, it doesn't seem like the fun is stopping. You're headed to Super Bowl opening night, the last public media appearance before the big game. Any players or coaches especially you're excited to hear from?
Yeah, tonight's a big night. I mean, all the players get together at Footprint Center, home of the Suns and the Mercury, where you can go up to them and just chat with them. Certain big players will be up to the podium. A couple guys I'm really looking forward to talking to. Isaiah Pacheco of the Chiefs. He has a big story. He's a 7th rounder, turns around, becomes a star running back on a Super Bowl team for the Chiefs. And for the Eagles, Jack Driscoll. He's a backup tackle on this team, but he's from Madison, Connecticut, just 20 minutes away from where I am. He's playing with arguably the best offensive line in the Philadelphia Eagles, so he's been able to learn over the past couple of years. And I want to do a cool story on him. You know, as a Connecticut guy myself, Connecticut him, it'll be a really fun angle.
Sound fun. Catch Nick and 6 other SU students coverage all week on Instagram and Twitter at Newhouse Sports. Well, more locally here in Syracuse, a lot of the discussions around town have been surrounding Jim Boeheim, the 47th-year head coach of SU men's hoops. He was interviewed by ESPN this past weekend saying he'll probably return next season, and while doing so, took some shots at the current state of college basketball and fellow ACC opponents Miami, Wake Forest, and Pittsburgh, saying they bought their team this year through name, image, and likeness deals. Well, earlier this morning, Boeheim walked those statements back. We'll throw his statement up on the screen right now. In part, he said, "I apologize to the schools I mentioned. I believe the ACC member institutions are in compliance with NCAA rules governing name, image, and likeness. It wasn't my intention to imply otherwise." Keep in mind, this also coming after SU booster Adam Weitzman just inked an NIL deal with an incoming SU basketball commit. Meanwhile, SU women's hoops not making any headlines, but in a bad way. After starting conference play 4-2, the Orange losers of 5 of their last 6 before meeting BC yesterday in the Dome. This is the Boston College team as well that Syracuse took down the first time that they met back earlier in the season, that coming in early January. First bucket of the game goes to the Cuse. Last bucket of an 11-2 run to open the first quarter, you see there by Deasia Fair. Defense got the job done as well for the most part. Tiana Mayer hit a floater for BC to cut that lead way back down to 1. But Georgia Woolley was fantastic in this contest. She had 20 points, her 4th 20-plus point game so far this year. Down low, Syracuse battled in the boards. Dariana Lewis with a layup there. You'll hear more from her as this one continues. She would give Syracuse the lead at the break. SU 10-3 this season so far with a halftime lead. Lewis finished 1 rebound shy of a double-double. BC tried to shoot its way back into this one. That made it 58-42, but just too big of a lead. Deasia Fair was fantastic. She scores there and added more on in a winning effort. 24 points for Deasia Fair, scored her 2,500th career point in this game, but post-game wasn't exactly celebratory about that accomplishment.
I don't want to say that it doesn't really mean anything, but I mean, I think it's impressive for me sitting at 5'5", but I think that might be the best way I could describe it.
Well, Fair definitely humble after that big accolade. No small feat, though. Over to the professional scene, the Nets have some point scoring to make up for in their first game since trading Kyrie Irving to Dallas. Tonight they play the Clippers, and even though there's been all sorts of turmoil around them, the Nets have been good lately. Winners of 3 of their last 4. Cam Thomas had a career-high 44 points last time out in the Nets win against the Wizards, and again, first time they're playing since getting rid of Kyrie Irving. Nets still just 2 games back of 3rd place in the Eastern Conference and the Sixers. Busy night in New York. On the ice action as well, the Rangers taking on the Flames at MSG. First game back since the All-Star break. Rangers leading point scorer hasn't scored a goal since January 15th coming in this one, so New York looking to bounce back. Josh and Louise.
Thank you as always. When we come back, we'll take one last look at your weather. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And wrapping up here tonight on News Live at 6,
28 degrees when you wake up, but it'll warm up throughout the day into the 40s. Josh and Louise, some out of this world weather for Syracuse.
I don't know, I wouldn't call that out of this world, but you know what is out of this world? Space scientists have discovered new moons surrounding the solar system's biggest planet. Jupiter has 12 more moons confirmed in its orbit.
This means Saturn no longer holds the lead for most moons of any planet in our solar system. The new moons bring Jupiter's total to 92 moons.
That's a lot. That's a lot of moons. That's about 91 more than we have. So
that is true, yeah.
Would be a lot of moons there. And that's all the time we have today on Citrus TV News.
For more of the latest, follow us on Citrus TV News on Twitter or check out our website at citrustv.com.
For all of us here at Citrus TV News, I'm Josh Myers.
And I'm Louise Rath. Talking Points is on in 1 hour. Until then, have a great night, Syracuse.